According to the National Sexual Violence Resource Center, 1 in 5 women and 1 in 71 men will be a victim of sexual assault in their lives. And the statistics are even more startling for children. 1 in 4 girls and 1 in 6 boys will be sexually assaulted before the age of 18. Fear to Freedom was founded in 2011 to provide education and support to these victims and to those of domestic violence. Global CEO Karen Webb is here with us this morning. Good to see you.
Thank you.
Unfortunately, this is something that we're talking about a lot these days. Sexual assault, sexual abuse, domestic violence. How has that affected your organization and what you're doing?
It actually has brought us more to the forefront, and the need for our education, information, and service projects are growing exponentially because of it. You know, today's world is, we're talking about a subject that previously has never been talked about much before, and it needed to be talked about. And so we are trying to start the conversations to change the culture, especially around students, so that we change the culture for them as they grow through life.
So is it more prevalent, or are we just talking about it more?
I think we're just talking about it more. If you think back just to even when you and I were coming along going to college, there were probably just as many incidences of sexual assault and domestic abuse as there are now, but we didn't report it and we didn't talk about it. And so today we're giving people and empowering people more with the opportunity to report and to stop some of this.
But there is still that stigma attached to it, and there's still that fear of coming forward. And just having a conversation like this opens the door that maybe someone at home is sitting there thinking, maybe I should say something.
Right. One of the things we want to do is to educate and empower all of the community, but especially our students. If you think about when you're in college, 1 in 5 women in their 4 years of college will be sexually assaulted, and 1 in 16 men while they are in college will be assaulted. Those numbers are staggering.
They are.
And if we can give them the information, give them the coping mechanisms and the tools, and if the worst happens, give them the freedom and the opportunity, the empowerment to be able to report it, to get help, so that it doesn't define their lives and it doesn't become a pattern as they go through the rest of their lives.
And how does your organization help with that, from that moment that you make the decision to report it?
Well, what we do is more on the front end, Cheryl, and we are teaching these students, especially in the, we're within 30 colleges and universities across the country right now, and that's growing quickly. We've just added 2 more in the last 2 weeks.
Which is good, but scary,
right,
that you have to continue adding them.
And we're also seeing more information needed by some of our military academies. We're going to do our first program at the Merchant Marine Academy in April, which is Sexual Assault Month. And what we're trying to do is a twofold thing: to educate about what the danger signs and the danger zones are, but also have them internalize it by, as you see, we've got what we know as our aftercare kits. When a survivor or victim at that point goes into the hospital, when they do report it, they are always required to leave all of their clothing as evidence for what the alleged crime was. And before we started doing this, they were walking out of the hospital in paper scrubs, you know, and it's been referred to as the walk of shame. So what we do is we go in and do an educational program with the student group, and then actually have them pack these kits, which is clothing that they can walk out that's normalized, sundries and toiletries that they can do, and probably our 2 biggest pieces of this are a note that's handwritten by another student telling whoever opens that at that point in time that they're not alone and that there's hope for them. And what this does is, once the student writes this down, all of a sudden it internalizes they've just done something to support a victim of sexual assault, and it keeps the warning signs in front of them so they keep it front of mind to protect themselves.
So kind of a 2-tiered level of education, so to speak.
Right.
And this seems like such a simple thing, but it's such an important thing.
It really is. It provides comfort, but it provides that first step of normalcy towards survival. And that's what we're trying to help in the support with the victims as they're going through this horrific situation and experience. And we really want them to know that this doesn't need to define them. One of the things you see in the kit is a teddy bear, and while that sounds a little out of place there, it's a very special teddy bear. It's a teddy bear that has a hole in its heart and a backpack on its back, and the backpack includes pieces of paper which are specially done for us, that it's dissolvable paper. So we ask them to write the name of whoever's harmed them or what the situation was, and they stuff it in the bear's heart and close the heart up. And then when they feel stronger, whether it's days, months, years later in some cases, they open that pouch and they take that paper out, put it in water and dissolve it, and watch all of the evil go away. And while, again, it's very simple, it's very powerful.
It's symbolic.
Yes.
It really is.
Yes.
Well, before we let you go, is there anything else you wanted to share with us today?
Well, April will be Sexual Assault Month, and we want to make sure we're out in as many community groups and universities and colleges as we can get, because the only way we're going to combat this and change culture is by education and information.
And as we see that when you all get together, powerful things happen.
Right.
Karen Webb, thank you so much, from Fear to Freedom. For more information on Fear to Freedom, go to the link on our show website. We'll put that up by early this afternoon at WTVR.com/VTM. And we'll be right back.